take you Bermuda. Aruba, Jamaica, ooh, I wanna take you Bermuda, Bahama, come on pretty mama, Key Largo, Montego, baby, why don't we go Jamaica off the Florida Keys. There's a place called Kokomo, that's where you wanna go to get a.
We are back. I am Francine Cameron, your host and travel enthusiast. I have here with me Miss Rita Gregory. How are you doing, Rita?
I'm doing great today.
Doing great today. Excellent, excellent. And for those of you who are regular listeners, you know that Rita is a former airline attendant. How many years, Rita?
33.
33. All right, all right. Some of us don't last that long, regardless of the industry we've been in, right? So that is an excellent accomplishment. And then we also have Nichelle Downing. Nichelle is a travel entrepreneur and actually owns Point Breeze Travel. How are you
Yes.
doing, Nichelle?
I'm doing well. How are you, ladies? It's good to see you both
Good to
this
see you
morning.
with you,
all.
Nichelle.
Yes, yes. It's always good for us to be back. Our listeners know that we are here the last Saturday of the month.
Yes.
So it's been a month. Been a lot going on in the
Sure
travel
has
industry,
been.
hasn't there? Yes,
Yes.
there is. So we're going to talk about all of that. So let me just give everybody the rundown of what we're going to be talking about today. First segment, we're going to talk about the Nexus Border Crossing. I just learned about it. It's very interesting program. So we're going to talk about that. Our next segment, we're going to talk about the scenic route. There's a whole new thing in travel. You know, some people just want more of a kind of a laid back
Right.
experience. And so we're going to be talking about different scenic routes. Today is going to be Old Canada Road National Scenic Byway, and this is through Maine.
Yes.
And I've been to Maine, beautiful, beautiful city. Then we are going to talk about our cruise update. Rita, we're excited. Pittsburgh's DSEN is having their first cruise, the Eastern Caribbean. So we're going to give everybody updates on that. And of course, Miss Nichelle is going to lead us in that discussion because that falls right in line with what she does
Yes.
through her travel agency. And so we went big time and went professional. So we have Nichelle taking the lead on that because she knows all the ins and out of traveling,
Right.
especially cruises, or if people, you know, want to have large parties,
Groups.
that, you know, groups, that's Nichelle's expertise. But what we're also going to talk about, and Rita, I really want to get your perspective on this, is the airline's new automations and how that's going to affect travelers. You know, I recently had an experience with that, and so I'm very interested in getting your perspective because you worked in the industry for so long. So you know it from as a traveler, but you know it as a professional. But there's some new automation that's coming through, and I really want to get yours and Nichelle's opinion and expertise on how that's going to affect the rest of us,
Right.
because it's definitely going to affect us. And then we're going to have a guest join us from Kenya. And I believe he will be 6 hours ahead of us, but he's going to come on our last segment, and he's going to talk to us about the tours that they have, the safari, how to experience Kenya, because, you know, that's one of the countries that is very, very popular
Yes.
for Americans, African Americans specifically, and I'm sure other nations and nationalities going to Kenya to experience that. And of course, you know, Rita, I'm sure you've been there.
I've not been to Kenya.
Kenya?
I know a lot
Okay.
of people who have.
Okay.
I know a lot about it.
Yeah, I know a number of different people who are put together tours,
Yes.
you know, and they're from the U.S. going to Kenya. But this gentleman lives in Kenya, so he's from Kenya, you know, and that's what we always like to do, bring that perspective of the people boots on the ground,
Absolutely.
so that we can get the real in-depth, and then that way we can ask them anything and everything and they'll be able to answer.
And also people can call in if they have any questions.
Yes, yes.
Right.
So if you are interested in calling in, You can call us at 412-213-8995, or a little bit on the shy side and you prefer to text, and actually not even the shy side, just convenience, right?
Yes.
412-218-3888. So we're going to get right into it. Now, the Nexus Border Crossing, as I said, it's actually a program, and the whole premise of the Nexus Border Crossing is it's an alternative inspection program, really, and it's established to promote trade, tourism, and movement of people and goods. Because when I think about Nexus, I only thought about it really in terms of goods, but it's moving people, goods as well, between the United States and Canada.
Right.
So it's that partnership between the United States and Canada, and it's really for pre-screened travelers to expedite them through the process. Now, recently, about a month ago, we traveled to Toronto, and we were in these long lines, and then we saw other folks just whispering through. It almost makes you think about what we have in the U.S. when we're going state to state and we have our Easy Pass.
Correct.
That's what it reminded me of, you know. And so we actually, as we were in line, they had kind of border control folks there, and we asked them, well, what is this? And they gave us just like a little bit of information, but it actually piqued our interest, because then when we came back into the U.S. from Toronto, we were again in a long line. So sometimes the experiences that we have is what we talk about on the show, you know, just trying to give, once again, this, you know, just trying to give tips to our listeners. So let me just give you a little bit of information. Again, the Nexus is really a program to promote the trade, tourism, and movement of people and goods between the U.S. and United States, excuse me, the U.S. and Canada. Now, in order to be eligible, you have to be a U.S. citizen or a Canadian citizen. You either have to be a U.S. permanent resident or a Canadian permanent resident. And there's certain Mexican nationals who can participate in the program, and it's called Viajero Confinable. So they have a program as well, but it's only certain Mexican nationals.
Right.
Okay, now, really the benefits, again, is expediting that passageway between the U.S. and Canada. You know, so now you don't have to wait in those long lines. You can also utilize the global entry when you're at airports. So it's not only as you're driving, you know, to and from Canada, U.S. to Canada, but if you're in the airports, you can use it as well. And I thought this was really interesting. So if you're arriving by sea and you're reporting that arrival into the U.S. and Canada, you can actually call a Marine telephone reporting center. And I thought that was really interesting. So they're trying to make it as easy as possible for you to be able to do travel. But of course, you know, with everything that's government related, there's a process that you have to go through.
Absolutely.
Now, for those of us who have access to TSA PreCheck, you could also utilize the Nexus through that as well. So again, expediting the security lines at the airport, within the U.S. and U.S. territories, for U.S. citizens. And one thing about the program, if you have, and we'll talk a little more in detail, if you have some blemishes on your record, so, you know, if you've done some things in the past, you might not be able to apply for this program. Absolutely. But we'll give you a little bit more detail on that. And so, Nichelle, what did you end up finding out about the program?
So a couple of things. One, you can apply online. We have this, even your children, you have to apply. You don't have to pay for any children, I think, under the age of 18, but you do still have to register them, and you have to go online and apply. It's called the U.S. Trusted Travel Program, TPP. It's about $120 per application, not $120 per family. And keep in mind, so right now, the processing is a little bit slower because of the tensions between, you know, us and Canada, caused by, you know, Mr. Special, that's happening up there. And most of that has to do with gender. So Canada is actually attempting to start their own programs separate from this usual program. I mean, of course, they're still working on it because you have to have a valid passport. If you know all the documentation that you normally have to have, you have to show proof of that. And if you're driving, right, you have to show like a bill showing your address. You have to have that real ID really isn't anything going across the Canadian border, except it is your driver's license. And certain states have an enhanced driver's license that you have to get to drive into Canada. Make sure you have your registration, make sure you have proof of insurance, all of that if you're driving, because it's a beautiful drive.
Yes, it is.
It doesn't matter where you're driving from. I've done it twice from Pittsburgh, and it is when I was still living there, it was a beautiful, beautiful drive. The application process normally takes 12 to 24 months. But remember, in a lot of these U.S. government agencies, they've cut a lot of the people, they've cut a lot of the offices, even going to calling the Marine station, all these things, all of that may cause you a delay.
Yeah.
So going back to you sitting in the line, if you apply for the application, but you want to go, let's say in 2 weeks, and you still don't have all the stuff that you need to, that process, you'll be in that line. But to help you in that line, if you are, especially if you're driving in, just make sure you have all the documentation that you need. Have a utility bill so you can prove your address. Make sure when you drive through, you have all your car registration, your proof of insurance. If you share custody with your kids, make sure you have that letter stating that you're allowed to take them, because it is a border. It doesn't look like something heavy duty, but I mean, and Canadians are generally friendly, but it's a border.
It's a border.
It's a border. And going back to what you said, check your, I'm trying to be delicate about it. If you have anything on your record that possibly had you in court.
That's the key.
It really is.
You need to check and make sure that none of that is going to impede. You may have been able to do one type of trip, but with everything that's going on, a lot of people being more stringent, double check, right? And go on, don't go to Instagram, don't go to ChatGPT, but actually go to the source. Call. If it means you being on hold for an hour, be on hold for an hour. Go down to whatever your city and county building is for the court system. Just double check to make sure you're okay, because you don't want to be that one, well, Bob got to go. Yeah, but Bob had a misdemeanor, but you had this other thing, and that may cause you not to go. But those are the things that the biggest thing is, and I say it all the time, right? Check your patience. No longer are we living in a world where you can wake up tomorrow. You used to be able to, hey, babe, we're not doing anything this weekend. Let's drive up to Canada.
Right.
That's kind of not, that's not feasible anymore.
That's exactly right.
You need to make sure you have what you need. Make sure that there's certain places on the road, shout out to AAA and the Triptych. Make sure that you have a map if you are driving, because there are certain places as you drive where you're not going to get cell service.
Absolutely.
And check with your cell service provider to make sure this isn't going to cause roaming charges, or you're not going to get some additional charge that you're not expecting on your next month's bill.
Yeah, I just found it interesting that, as you said, Michelle, with the number of government employees that were down, that through DOSH or whatever, people retiring, that we no longer had those larger numbers, of employees. And this process could take anywhere from 12 months to 24 months.
Right.
I mean, that
So
could be
add a couple more.
Yeah, and add on to it. So this isn't a quick process any longer, and that's just the world that we're in. But for those of you who travel a lot to Canada, You know, there's some people who live in the U.S. and work in Canada and vice versa, right? So this could be definitely worth your time. I found that it was interesting.
It's valid for 5 years.
Yeah,
That's good to know.
yeah, and I
Yeah,
thought
so
that was
even if-
interesting too.
Yeah, so even if you're thinking about, I don't know if we're going to go this year, maybe we'll go ahead and apply. It's good for 5 years. You'll have it for 5 years, and not have to think about it.
Right.
And the other thing is, this process is no different than, what some of the European countries are doing. Everybody is putting some type of process in place, not just to expedite, for all the conspiracy theorists. They're also tagging everybody. They want to know everybody's location, where everybody's going. They were already moving towards that. And then with the COVID thing, I think that expedited that thought process. And then when Cuckoo Nuts running the universe here, that that made people stop and say, you know what, you're not as big and bad as you think you are. We got rules too.
Right.
And Rita, I'm going to let you, tell us about the delays and denials, what that looks like. But one of the things I wanted to say as a follow-up to Nichelle is the U.S. has always been, a place that was welcoming and people really wanted to, come here. That's changed. And so for those countries, they're saying, well, we might not want you in our country.
That's right.
So, and that's a lot of what's going on. I remember having a conversation with our daughter, when she was living in Europe, and I was telling her, make sure you're safe, and, don't go anywhere by yourself. And she said, Mom, I'm safer here in London than you are back in Pennsylvania.
Right.
And I had to think about that, and at the time there was a lot of craziness going on, but, we've been spoiled that people love coming here. When now with this environment, some folks are saying, well, we don't love you all like we used to. So,
absolutely.
So we got to be mindful of that and respectful of where we're going, and make sure that we're following the rules.
Right.
Because it's a difference, and that's not to deter people from traveling at all. It's just for all of us to be mindful of where you're traveling to, and be mindful and respectful.
Yes.
So Rita, how about the delays? There's always delays, and then folks can be denied as well.
Right. Well, the number one thing for me is incomplete or false information on your application.
Now, why would you put false information? I mean, that's just a big no-no right there.
Well,
why would you do that?
Yeah, some people assume, well, it's not in my country. It's
But it
and
has
they're not
to
going
be
to know.
But it has to be approved, and that was something. It
Absolutely,
has to be
yes.
approved by the Canadian side as well as the U.S. So it has to be approved by both countries.
Correct.
So people, need to realize that first off.
Second one would be certain violations of federal security regulations and disqualifying criminal offenses and factors. One thing that I know of, I know friends and associates who've tried to travel into Canada, but were behind in their child support payments.
Yep.
And like Nichelle mentioned, if you've gone into court, that's in your records. So that's an offense. People may not think it's an offense, but it is. The applicant has been arrested for or convicted of any criminal offense, or has denied firearms transactions, meaning you apply to get a gun permit, and you're denied that. Well, there's a reason why they denied you. Pending criminal charges, protection orders, or any outstanding warrants in any country. And so, like Nichelle said, check your patience.
Yeah.
And also do your homework. And then also, the applicant has been found in violation of any customs, immigrations, or agricultural regulations, procedures, or laws in any country.
Now that's deep. Any country.
Any
so
country.
I mean, it's a way for us to expedite getting in and out of Canada and
Right.
the U.S. However, they're not playing around.
No.
So you got to come correct, folks.
Yeah.
Now,
So
what I
let's
would-
talk about the agricultural part.
Yes.
So
So
a
let me just
part
say
of that-
one thing, Nichelle. So if you have a Nexus Border crossing, if you've gone through that process, please give us a call. And again, you can call us at 412-213-8995, or if you have been thinking about it, thinking about going through this process, please, you can text us 412-218-3888. And go ahead, Nichelle.
So Rita brought up agriculture. So when she brought up agriculture, that made me remember cannabis is legal in Canada, but it's legal in Canada. So you cannot take it across the border.
Right.
And you can't bring it back home as a souvenir. So
all righty then.
because people don't think about it, oh, it's legal over there, so I'm just going to shove it all in my bag and take it with me. And or oh, this one, I don't smoke, I don't do it, but oh, this was some good stuff, I'm gonna take a little bit back home. That's not how it works.
No.
Even if the state that you're going to, it's also legal in that state, you cannot take it across the border.
Correct.
I just want to throw that out there because that will lead you down a path of you don't want to deal with.
And what do they say? What's done in
Vegas.
In Vegas stays in Vegas. So I think if I don't do it either, if you're partaking in that and you're in Canada, leave that in Canada, right? Because it's a tricky thing. And then, like you said, people forget, and we've had cases of, the basketball player years ago who supposedly had something and, she was in Russia. I think that probably was a setup anyway, but, things can happen and it can go south on you really, really fast. I know there was a couple that they were on one of the islands and the same thing happened to them. The husband had something that was legal in that country, but then he was trying to leave the country and it turned out to be a mess. And then he ended up having to stay in that country for like over a month and then a trial. It was just horrible. So just be mindful of things like that. The whole point of going on vacation is to be able to enjoy yourself.
Yes.
The last thing you want is to have, and that's not even a hiccup, to have some craziness that just throws everything off. And it's different being in another country in their jail, right? It's bad here in the U.S., but it could be really bad when you're, in a foreign country. So, just be very, very careful of that. But as I said, I just learned about Nexus from us traveling to Canada. I hadn't heard of it before, and to my mind with Nexus is always thinking about on the business side.
Right.
So never even realized that it traveled, that it went cross borders, if I could say that, cross borders, and it was for the traveling versus just the goods that you always think about. Nexus and taxes. I always think about taxes as an accountant as well. But again, here at Travel Fun and Tips, we try to bring to you information that's going to help you enjoy yourself and give you some tips that it could be an opportunity for you to, go through that process. But as Nichelle say, pack your patience because it can be a long process. But the good thing is it lasts for 5 years.
Yes.
So, you get it, you have it, and, enjoy the benefits of it because it is a real benefit. That line was extremely long. It was extremely long. And we already know about the airports, those lines there. And if there's another way, in addition to the TSA line, that you can make your travel a lot smoother, then why not go for it?
Yeah, and when
The other
we talk
thing
about
is-
agriculture, it's more than just transporting a little, feel-good stuff.
Yeah.
But it goes beyond that. I know, from history of my years traveling, that you cannot transport anything in here with roots.
What do you mean roots? You're talking about plants and that's what I thought you were talking about.
We're coming out of Japan. You have to be careful with carrying in bamboo. Bamboo is beautiful, but you have to make sure you're not transporting something with roots. Is that still in effect, Nichelle, to your knowledge?
I believe so, yes. Because I'll tell you, even when I went to Taiwan, they gave me a banana or something on the
Right.
flight,
Mm-hmm.
and I had it in my bag, and I had forgotten all about it. And when I was at baggage claim, it was in my carry-on. When I was at baggage claim, their dog sniffed it out, and they
Yeah.
came right up to me, and they not only took the banana, but then they dumped my entire bag.
Right.
You know, but they're very polite about it. They're not like our TSA here,
Sometimes.
but right, but they checked through my bag. So it's, you know, a lot of produce, different
Yes.
things. And, you know, especially now, post-COVID, I think most countries and different places are very sensitive to what is coming in and what it may be holding and transporting with you.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that you said, Francine, and then Rita had talked about is, you know, we used to go and, well, I'm an American citizen. And because we were American citizens, one, we're waving it like it's a badge, you know, don't mess with me.
Mm-hmm.
But the other thing is, countries used to, oh, you're a US citizen, they were a little kinder, some things they would let pass. That is no more.
Right.
Crazy Cuckoo changed all of that. He changed
Yeah.
all of that. And that is not the case anymore. In certain countries, it never was. But right now, that I'm a US citizen means nothing.
Mhm.
Whatever their rules are, those are their rules, and you
That's
will
right.
follow them.
Right. Right.
That's right. And I
You
think
know, like-
back in the day, you know, it used to be like the U.S., we used to usurp everybody, you know. Now these countries are saying, you know what, since you're not being a great partner to us anymore, we're going to crack down on your citizens just like you crack down on ours, you know. And so it's a new day, but for me, I'm still traveling.
Right.
I'm not going to let Kookadookle in the White House mess things up for me, because I have my bucket list, and I'm
Yeah.
going to get to my bucket list. So on that note, ladies, we are almost at the end of our first segment. So what we're going to
Great
do,
segment.
after this break, we're going to come back and we're going to talk about that scenic rides, those scenic drives, you know, for folks who just want to be a little bit more laid back, take your time, not worried about going to the airport, long lines and all that stuff, but, you know, they just want to kind of kick back. So we are going to talk about the scenic ride through Maine.
Mm-hmm.
So on that note, we will be back. We're going to take a short commercial break. Hang in there with us. We got a whole lot more information to give to you.
Yes.
So thank you, guys.
Away from it all. Bodies in the sand. Tropical drink melting in your hand. We'll be falling in love to the rhythm of a steel drum band. Down in Kokomo, Jamaica. Ooh, I wanna take you to Bermuda, Bahama. Come on, pretty mama. Key Largo, Montego, baby, why don't we go down to Kokomo? We'll get there fast and then we'll take it slow. That's where we wanna go. Way down to Kokomo. Take that Montserrat steak. We'll put out to sea. We'll perfect our chemistry. By and by we'll defy a little bit of gravity. Afternoon delight, cocktails and moonlit nights. That dreamy look in your eye, give me a tropical contact high. Way down in Kokomo, Jamaica. Ooh, I wanna take you to Bermuda, Bahama. Come on, pretty mama. Key Largo, Montego, baby, why don't we go down to Kokomo? We'll get there fast and then we'll take it slow. That's where we wanna go. Way down to Kokomo. Don't
Pittsburgh, it's an old school party. Yes, each Saturday we throw it back with some of the best old school music, funk, R&B, old school, rap, hip hop, and all the jams that make you move and dance. Yes, check it out each Saturday right here on Pittsburgh's DSEN. All the old school jams, 6 to 11 p.m.
Pittsburgh, have you seen our Sunday radio schedule? Ooh, it is lit. Start the day off with our Sunday gospel music from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. It will inspire you and have you praising the Lord. Then from 3 to 8 p.m., we bring you Sunday jazz melody for all the jazz lovers. Then cap off the night with the Quiet Storm from 8 to 11 p.m. to hear the best smooth, romantic, and soulful R&B sounds of yesterday and today. All that each Sunday on Pittsburgh's DSEN, the place for soul.
I'm always cold.
Hear the drums echoing tonight, and she hears only whispers of some quiet conversation.
We are back, yes indeed. And
She's
so,
coming
again, that
in
first
from
segment,
fine.
for those of you who were not able to join us at the very beginning, I encourage you to go back and listen to that Nexus border crossing, because it's a very good program, and it's between the U.S. and Canada.
Right.
But, you know, anything with a government program, and Nichelle knows this better than all of us, it's a process and it's going to take time, but it could really be a good opportunity for those of our listeners. So now we are going to the scenic rides. And for those of you who have been to Maine, I've been to Maine. It's a beautiful, beautiful state. I was there for business, so I wasn't there long. But what we did is try, which we always do, we try to bring up and talk to you about different travel opportunities, some that might be on your bucket list and some that might not. So there's this trend going on now that people want to have more of a kickback experience, and I'm all for that. And I love a drive, especially when I don't have to do it.
Right.
When I could be that, as my daughter called me, the princess passenger.
Of course.
I love that, you know, and so I know Nichelle's like, what? A scenic ride for me is definitely, you know, I can handle that.
Yes.
I love it. I kick back, do a little reading, a little sleeping, you know, I do it all. But we wanted to talk about the scenic route in Maine, and it's called the Old Canada Road National Scenic Byway. And it's 78 miles north-south travel corridor, and it's following that Route 201 through Maine's upper Kennebec Valley. And so it's really running from the town of Ceylon to the Canadian border near Jackman. And this route is widely recognized, you know, as one of the most scenic and historic routes that you can take, you know. And so for those of you who have traveled to New England, it's just a beautiful part of our country. It really is. When I got a chance to go there, actually a couple different times, I was there in the winter and then I was there in the summer, you know, and so it was nice in the winter. You know, we were bungled up and everything like that, and it just was beautiful, just the scenery. And then in the summer, I was there riding bikes, you know, so I've kind of been there in 2 of the seasons, not all 4, but 2 of the seasons. Now, Rita, how about you? Have you been to Maine?
Yes, and in the fall, it's just magnificent.
Excellent. How about you, Nichelle? You're on mute.
Yeah, no, I have never ever gone,
It's
but
beautiful.
I'm looking at the pictures that you have posted, and it is just amazing and beautiful. Um, Gosh,
I
just to
know.
put that on, have some music playing in the background, and just breathe. That's what it looks like to me. So
Yes.
I think I want to go now.
I know.
Yeah.
And I just think, we're all so busy. Like I looked at the week, that we're in now, and it was as Nichelle said earlier, it was a good hectic, but it was hectic.
Yes.
And so sometimes we do need to just like take a little step back, and, a scenic route can, rejuvenate yourself. You can really rejuvenate, and it gives you just a chance to kind of breathe. You could be on your own schedule. You don't have to worry about you have to be at a certain place at a certain time. You take the breaks when you want, and you just kind of enjoy it, because some other travels, you got to be at a certain place at a certain time, or, might miss those connections, et cetera, et cetera. But with the scenic route, you don't have all that pressure,
Right.
or, it could be pressure you put on yourself, but it doesn't have to be that way, and what I know about being in that New England area is each of the little towns, each of the little cities, they have their uniqueness. But for me, I would map it out to see how long the trip, if I wanted to just do it a weekend, or a day or something like that. And I would have the route and where are the best places for me to stop too, right? Just so that it can be more laid back, more relaxing. And for me, if there's even those little inns, that you can just stay and have lunch, and sometimes even just stay over. I don't always have to be, for me, I don't always have to be in a 5-star, hotel. Sometimes I like the little quaint, as
Right.
long as the little quaint don't have little bugs, we're good. Now we're doing bugs, and I need to go to my 5-star. I don't do bugs. I
No.
don't do my bugs. I don't do anybody's
Right,
bugs. So the place definitely has to be, it has to be nice.
Yeah.
But sometimes I like that going, old school, not all the fancy, but sometimes like the vintage, I enjoy that.
Right.
How about you, Rita?
Oh, I agree with you. I love just the charm of the region that you're in terms of not only just staying but also eating
Yes.
out. Miss Foodie Nichelle. I love that. Like you say, I love 5-star, 4-star, but sometimes I just love just that experience of being like this close to nature, and it's great. I mean, it's a time where you don't have to sit there and monitor your watch. I've got 20 minutes to get my next flight, or so it provides a whole lot more than just travel. It's the whole experience of being able to relax and unwind. So I think it's great.
I do too.
One of the things that you'll see on this route is one of the highest waterfalls. It's called the Moxie. That Maine has. You'll be able to see one of the highest waterfalls, and because of this type of a route, it's not extremely touristy. It's not, how you've gone to different things and there's great views,
Yes.
but it's so touristy, you
It's hard
you
to
almost
enjoy
can't
it.
enjoy it,
Yeah.
or you feel subconscious. I'm standing here too long so that other people can, come and see what you're seeing. But a route like this, you're not going to have that.
Right.
Because your cell service is unreliable. Let's put that on there too.
That's a
And
key
so,
point.
as much as for safety, think about that. But on the other hand, is if you're someone who has a problem, disconnecting, it's something like this that forces you. You don't have a choice. You could want to check all the emails, text messages, social media, like, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, all you want. You can't get through. You can't connect. And that's a beautiful, 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 beautiful thing. But you'll see some of that. There's some overlooks where you're going to see different rivers and mountain views on this route. It's just, fantastic. I'm not going to plug this is going to be my last reference to these people until they become a sponsor.
Okay.
AAA.
Okay. Thank you.
This is that's my last plug for you until you become a sponsor. But going the old school route and getting a triptych from them, those triptychs have so much information when you open it up about these different places you can stop, things you can do, construction, all that. Because remember, as much as we're all tech savvy and MapQuest tells you that, you might not have cell service
That's exactly right.
Right.
That's exactly right.
going up and through the Dale.
And Nichelle, it's funny that you should say triptych. Those of us who are old enough, we used to use them. Years and years ago, I had one and showed our kids, and they're like, that's too much. They're like, you actually use that to get place to place, you know, because now it's all on our phone. But I said, yeah. And I said, you know, it's good to know how to read a map and understand the markings. That they're like, ah, that's just too much. Now, this was years ago, but it's funny because I don't even know if the young folks even know what a triptych is. You know, and
That's right. I do keep referencing it like it's a. So
and they might not know, but I tell you,
for those of you,
I was in AAA. This is the last time we're going to say this, but and I had the audacity to ask the lady if they still, you know, even did the trip, and she looked at me like I was insane. She said, "Of course we do." I said, "Okay, so I'll take one. I'll take one for New York." That was where we were going, and I just wanted to show the kids,
Right.
and I laid it out on the bed in the hotel, and they're like, "Oh, that's too much." It was hilarious.
but it was the most exciting part of a road trip to have this because you didn't have this
map.
huge map,
Mm-hmm.
right? You had this little, and I remember us getting a highlighter as kids in a different color because you know they highlight your route,
They do,
and then we
they
would
do.
tick off as we pass certain places and all that kind of stuff. But going back to what you said, you know, this is the type of thing that where you disconnect.
That's right.
And so you don't have your cell, even if you did have great cell phone service, this is where you do want
don't
something
need it.
like that. Well, I'm not going to say no more about them until you tell me they're an official sponsor of Pittsburgh's DSEN. And they need to take a listen to us because I think this is about the 5th or 6th time we've talked about road trips and we've referenced them.
You know what? And that's because when we were kids, that's what we used. You know what I mean? Like it all, you know, goes back to them. I don't know how well their business is now that, you know, everything is electronic, you know, especially since a lady saying, of course we do triptychs. And meanwhile, half the population don't even know what it is.
Right.
But, you know, even with this route too, the wildlife, I mean,
Yes.
I mean, you can see moose. Like, are you kidding me?
Mm-hmm.
You know, moose, white-tailed deer. I mean, you can also black bears, the river otters. They have beavers. I mean, the mix of the river system. So now you're seeing different forests, mountains. I mean, it's almost like it has everything, and that's why I think, you know, the ability to slow down, stop that route somewhere, you know, in the middle or as you're starting out, plan it out. But to be able to see that wildlife and just like you said, Rita, connecting with nature, you know, I just find it extraordinary because for me, as I'm getting older, there's different things that matter to me.
Yes.
And getting back to nature really, really matters to me. You know, we work so hard during that week, you know, sometime, you know, we could literally be at our desks 8 to 12 hours, you know, a day, you know, especially for me, just to be able to get out and breathe in some fresh air, you know. So again, this scenic route, I mean, you could do everything to nothing. And sometimes it is so good to deplug from the cell phone. I mean, just, and how about this? You're in the car. I was having breakfast with a client of mine, and he said him and his son went on a trip, you know, and it was local. And he said, he asked his son, can you please just put away your phone and have a conversation with me?
Right.
You know, even if it's just like 10 minutes, like the ability just to connect with who you're traveling with, you know, and sometimes we're so tied to the cell phone that we forget the ease of just having a conversation, you
Yes.
know. And so these scenic routes can give you that ability to just reconnect with nature, reconnect with the people that you're traveling with. And sometimes it's nice to have no noise. You know, all you hear is the birds, you know, the wind as you're driving, and, you know, not all the noise, you know, not all the noise that we have to constantly listen to as we do our regular day.
And, you know,
through
and
our
for
regular
me,
day.
just seeing wildlife in their natural habitat instead of in a zoo setting,
Yes.
Yeah.
just to see that. I'll never forget one time traveling from Knoxville, Tennessee to Pittsburgh. I remember seeing a mountain goat on the hillside, and I flipped, you know, because I just loved that, seeing.
I mean, I've
seeing
never seen a
wildlife.
moose. I mean, you know, you see them on television,
Yeah.
you know, but like to be able to see, you know, different wildlife,
It's beautiful.
you know, I'm really into that. So I like going to the different conservancies and things like that. But like you said, Rita, there's nothing bigger, and you know, you just see God's creation
Yes.
when you see it in the natural habitat. Now, I do know that for zoos, you know, sometimes they're rescuing the animals that,
Sure.
you know, can no longer be out in the wild, but to be able to be there and, you know, experience it.
Unexpected.
But I don't want them to get too close because sometimes they're real big. You know what I mean? So like, I want to see them, but you know, it can be daunting too, just to say,
Sure.
wow, I mean, all these different species we have, all this different, and we're in a day and age where our natural resources are starting to dry up. You know, I think it's like almost every year or so, you know, there's organizations that'll put out what animals are now extinct, you know, extinct, that we no longer have them, which is really, really sad. So the opportunity to be able to see them in their natural habitat is big. It really is big. And that route also gives you an opportunity to do, and you ladies have to let me know if you've done this or not, whitewater rafting. Have you ladies done it?
Not I.
So I did it once here in Colorado.
Did you?
And how was
I
it?
did. It was good. You know, we went to, you know, how they give you a lesson in the morning, they give you all the tips, and they just take you, and it was just a little short run. I'm not an adventure seeker. I don't need that in my life.
Right.
But it was exhilarating, and it was amazing. And afterwards I felt like accomplished and stuff like that. But you know, if you get an opportunity to do it supervised, I would highly suggest, if you're someone who's outdoorsy and all of that, to just do it. You don't have to be athletic. They give you the whole suit, you know, and everything, and it's just a short little stint. You know, they're not going to take you somewhere where they're going to lose you or something's going to happen.
And you know what? And see, and that's what I need. I need it to be, because it would be my first time.
Yeah.
So if I took this scenic route through Maine, I would want to try the whitewater rafting, as long as it was slower water,
Yep.
right?
Yeah.
And definitely supervised, because I know people who, you know, got thrown out and, you know, almost felt like they were going to die. Meanwhile, they might have been able to stand up, but I don't know. So I'm only saying that I want to be supervised, and I want to have calmer water. It doesn't have to be, you know, like bath water and you're just floating there or whatever. Just a little bit calmer.
Let's try it. Let's go
I
do
think
this.
I should go
Okay,
for
the
it,
three
you
of
know?
us should.
Yeah, it's what it is because there's rocks, you know, and all of
That's
that.
what scares me.
Yeah,
But this kind of route too would be beautiful for hiking.
Oh, yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And,
You know?
and I, you know, for me, I like hiking. You know, it's so funny. A couple weeks ago, it probably was over a month ago, there were some trails not too far from our house. And I went through it. Our daughter and our dog went another way. But then once I got up so high, just being able to see the city, and I mean, it was really, really beautiful. And then this was funny. So as I was up there, then I saw these pretty big deer. So I backed up real slow. I said, okay, Francine, you out here, you know, you're a city girl. Now what do you do? So I eased on back down, because I didn't know, you know, they go in packs. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So if I saw one, I was assuming that I would see more.
Yeah.
And I said, they're real pretty from afar. I didn't want to get too close. So I just.
There are deer down in Shinley Park trails too.
I know.
They're everywhere.
They're everywhere. And,
Yeah.
we're in the historic Hill District. I've seen up here just maybe 2 weeks ago, a mommy and a baby. The baby looked like it was literally the size of a cat. It was so small. Crossing Center Avenue. Came right, crossing Center Avenue right in front of our building. Everybody stopped. We were all in awe. We're like, oh my God, I think I even got a picture. You get all excited and everything.
Yeah.
But a couple years ago, though, we had a black bear in the Hill District.
Right.
What?
And it took them days to be able to catch it.
Went to Penn Hills. It went everywhere.
Yeah. It
I
took
can't
them
even
days.
imagine. I can't even imagine a deer or a bear just strutting across Center Avenue.
Oh, yeah.
And and there's so many up here. And then we also have turkey. We have turkeys. So then when they're in the street, I mean, they're stopping you because with the turkey, they're in packs too. It's probably about 30 of them. So what are you going to do? You can't go past them. So they're just walking around. And I think they're probably saying, well, we were here before you were. You know what I mean?
Probably.
They were there,
Right.
they were there before
Right.
us,
Right.
but
Right.
there's a lot. There's like a family right behind, our building as well too. So I go out sometime late, leaving the office, and they're looking at me. I'm like, I'm looking at you too. And they can jump.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
They can
Yep.
jump very.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, ladies, I done got off part here, but we're talking about nature. So
But we're
if
just
you-
prepping. We're just prepping for this trip to Maine.
Look, as you
That's all.
said, we keep it real here. So, we're going to tell you our opinion, our expertise, etc. But if you ever thought about doing a scenic route, then give us a call. Let us know where you were thinking of going. I know a lot of people like to go LA to San Diego, that's beautiful
Yeah.
there. But there's so many different places. I'm not going to skip home here. Pennsylvania is a beautiful state.
Yes.
Beautiful.
And it is so different, from eastern PA to western,
Absolutely.
southern. I mean, it's beautiful here. And I know for people who are not used to the mountains, when they come to Pennsylvania, it's
Yeah.
all about mountains. And you talk about hiking, Nichelle, you know it. You grew up here. I mean, there's a lot of beautiful places within the U.S. that have these scenic routes. So if you're someone who's thought about it, give us a call.
We'd love to learn.
412-213-8995, or feel free to text us. Text lines are open as well, 412-218-3888. When you talk about these scenic routes, there's just sky's the limit, to be honest with you. So if you want to hike, if you want to do whitewater rafting, if you want to see the moose, if you want to see the black bear,
Come to
if you wa-
Pittsburgh.
if
Get
you
it
want to
out.
see beautiful, waterfalls, I mean, Maine has it all.
Yeah.
And it's just
Yeah.
beautiful. Even if you just want to take a drive up there and go to one location, it is a beautiful place.
Right.
It's absolutely beautiful. The other things that you can do too, when they talk about it, I mean, there's byways. Everybody loves photography. There's so many opportunities for you to photograph it, take your pictures. And some of the pictures are so beautiful that it almost doesn't look real. Like when you go to some of these places within Maine, it's so pictorial. It almost reminds me of what you would see on television.
Yes.
And you're like, could that really be real? And it's like, it is,
Or a postcard. Or a
Right.
postcard.
postcard
right?
beauty for sure. And one of the things that I really do like is I love waterfalls. I do love waterfalls, and Nichelle, you had kind of mentioned that earlier, but it says waterfalls along the route, including Moxie Falls, Houston Brook Falls, Coldstream Falls, and it's just a diversity and of the route, of the beauty that you're going to see. And like you said, Moxie Fall is one of the highest waterfalls in Maine, and only requires a short hike to even get there. And when I think about hiking nowadays, it doesn't have to be that extreme hiking, you know, that you get up there and you can't hardly breathe. You know, people are doing hikings, and it's like walking, you know, it's like walking on a treadmill. I mean, you know, it's not all that. It doesn't have to be, I should say. It can be, but it doesn't have to be so exhilarating, you know, that at the end of it, you don't know if you're going to have you know, a heart attack, or for people who might not be as mobile, for them to think that they can't do it, because that's not the case.
Right.
You know, there's some of the routes that you can go that are just flat, and you just take your time. You know, you do it at your own pace.
Right.
You know, you don't have to, you know, be the first one to race and get to the top or anything like that. You know, let the kids do that. Let them burn that energy, you know, that 100% energy that they have. Good. Anything else on the route for through Maine that you ladies want to share with our audience?
No, I think everyone who's interested in doing this should go online and check it out. Look at the cost.
Yep.
I mean, you
Yeah.
talk about
Doing that.
cost, Rita. I mean, it could be as little or as extravagant.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Look and see
Yeah.
what it is that your budget can handle, and I'm sure that it can, because, you know, you're just traveling via the ground on train, and I think it would be great.
I think it would be great too.
Yeah.
You know, and even, you know, everybody has a budget, but with something like that, you control your budget. You control
Yep.
what you want to put in there, you know, what you want to do and what you don't want to do.
Right.
You know, and so what does that come down to, ladies? Flexibility. You have the
Yes.
flexibility to create it your way.
Well, if you're driving, you know, you can put your own snacks in the car. You can load up, you know, some smaller meals that you're going to cook when you get there. You know, little different things like that. You can take a cooler, so that's
That's
going to
what I
cut
always
some
do.
of your cost and all of that. Only, you know, me, travel agent, be cautious of the weather because it's unexpected as you
Yes.
go through even in the summertime. So,
Mm-hmm.
you know, take some layers, take some things for
Yeah.
cold. If you're driving, make sure you have all your emergency things for the just in case. Little fun fact, logging trucks have priority over the road
Wow.
because on a lot of these roads, it's just two lanes. And the logging trucks have priority. So,
Yes.
you know, you're to let them pass, you're to let them go first, you know, in those different situations and things like that.
Take your time.
And
Yeah.
I would let them go by because they're so darn big. I let them go by and I let them get way ahead of me, right? I mean, logging, who even thinks about logging anymore? But I mean, that's real. So you're in a different part of the country, you know, that you might not live in. And so, you know, I mean, I'm not seeing any logging, you know, vehicles. So that would be special too. You know, you're just in a different area. You know, we got to get out of our comfort zone and, you know, and start experiencing life because we're not promised, you know,
No.
you're not promised days and days and days, you know, so we
No.
got to live it while we're living. And ladies, we are at the end of segment 2. Today is going real fast. It is
Yes.
going real fast. Listeners, so please feel free to give us a call, give us a text. We are going to be going through our next segment, and we're going to take a short break, but when we come back, we're going to give you an update on the Pittsburgh's DSEN cruise on the Royal Caribbean, and then we're going to talk about what the heck is the airline industry doing, Rita, with this new automations and look.
I have a
Nichelle,
complaint to file that I want Rita to take up the chain.
Okay.
So I can't wait till we get back. I've been waiting to connect with Rita because I know she knows people who
I'm
know
right here.
people who know people.
She done put on her glasses. There you go. I love it, Rita. Thank you. And see, that's what we do here at Travel, Fun, and Tips. We connect folks. So again, listeners, and for those of you who are watching us on YouTube, we appreciate you. Give us a few minutes. We're going to take a short break, and Nichelle has a complaint. I have some questions, and we're going to talk about this airline industry and their automations, but then we are going to talk about the cruise that we are going on in November of 2026. So hang in there with us. We will be right back. We are going to be on the Royal Caribbean cruise line and their new ship, Icon of the Seas, November 7th through the 14th, 2026.
We got excellent dates because the dates that we got are not within their blackout date, which means that whatever current promotion is happening right now with Royal Caribbean, when you pay your deposit, that promotion will be applied. If it's 60% off the second person, there's one that's a drink credit because they run different promotions all the time. This is a large corporation, and we have all balcony rooms and we have ocean view rooms that are reserved just for DSEN listeners. Icon of the Seas, it has elevated adult-focused party and chill areas. It has an infinity pool where you sit in this infinity pool and you see views of the ocean. They have a day vibe where there's a DJ. They are a little bit of party without the chaos. So you're not going to get the hoopla party chaos, but you're still going to be entertained. They have the Aquadome. Those of us who are Pittsburgh born and raised, we remember when the Civic Arena used to open up the dome. Remember that?
Absolutely.
How amazing that! I saw
Yes.
Prince and they
Wow.
opened the dome. Well, they have something called an Aquadome on Icon of the Seas, and basically you sit in this theater type zone and they're doing acrobatics and night activities. You get views of the ocean and the sky and the stars and the moon, and it is just wonderful. They have water park at sea that has 6 water slides to it. And
It's
of
like
course
a floating city.
it is. It really is.
You're talking about a dome that opens.
Which is why they don't say decks. Instead, that what they have are different neighborhoods. Because it is. It's a rolling on the sea city. And we're going to stop at St. Martin in Phillipsburg. We're going to stop at St. Thomas. Those will be full days where we're there. So you can do excursions if you'd like to do excursions. And of course, there's the perfect day at Coco Cay, which is Royal Caribbean's private island. And we're going to have a special reserved section for DSEN listeners. It's going to be a wonderful time. While we're on the cruise, we're going to do some trivia. Of course, we'll have a welcome cocktail as well as a farewell dinner. It is not just limited to the radio listeners. Bring everybody. The deposit is $250 per person.
You can go to Pittsburgh's DSEN's website to find out all the good information about the cruise, Icon of the Seas. I even love the name.
No, I love it. I'm a cruise fanatic. I'm ready to go home and start packing. So
I-
I'll see you ladies later.
We are back. This is Francine Cameron. I'm here along with Miss Rita Gregory and Nichelle Downing, and we are your 3 ladies who have a passion for travel. As you guys know, Miss Rita was a professional in the industry for a number of years. We're going to put it like that.
Number of
Flight attendant
years.
for
I
a
like
number of
that.
years. And Nichelle actually owns a travel agency. And what we want to first talk about, because I'm already packed and paid. How about that? PP, I'm already packed and paid. I want to talk about the cruise. The cruise that Pittsburgh's DSEN is sponsoring. This is our first cruise, and we are going to be on the big dog. I say big dog, Royal Caribbean. So listeners, if you have traveled on the Royal Caribbean cruise line, or if you had it on your bucket list, please give us a call. Let us know what you're thinking. But we're going to tell you all about our cruise. And so, of course, you can call us at 412-213-8995, or you can text us 412-218-3888. Now, if you haven't done Royal Caribbean, but you've done other cruise lines, we're not going to exclude you. You can call us and text us as well, but we're talking about the cruise we're going on. So,
What's the name of the ship?
Icon of the Sea.
Seas.
Yes.
Don't you like
Icon
that
of
name?
the Sea. So let me tell you, so we are cruising November 7th through the 14th. So it is pre-holiday cruising, which is fantastic. It's before too many of the crowds. Kids are still in school. But what I love about Royal Caribbean, as particularly Icon of the Seas, is that it is that mix of woo and chill.
Okay. Wait a minute. You said
It has-
"Woo," and chill. Okay, that's gonna be me.
You know,
Woo. And then at night,
If you want to do the water slides, if you want to do, all the things that the cruise line has for adventure, you can do that. You want to do the spas, and you're about massages, and you want to do maybe yoga, meditation. There's all of that, and then there's the in between. They have city Central Park, set up where you can sit and have coffee and a Danish or walk into the evenings. You can sit on, they have multiple tiny little hidden gem spaces where you can sit and just have a conversation. And what I love about a cruise ship is, there is no, it's like Vegas. There's no clock on the wall, right? We can sit there as long as we want to sit. We can talk as long as we want to talk. I love the fact that on the cruise ship that we're also doing one day at Coco Cay. We're going to have a small reserve space for those who are traveling with us, Pittsburgh's DSEN, who's going on the cruise with us. So you'll have a little section and area. What I love about all of us traveling together, we're going to do a welcome night. So you'll get to see other people. And if you're like I am, my husband is one who likes to do every, 2:00 I'm doing this, 4:00 I'm doing that. Like, he's an adventure moving person and I'm not. But when you're traveling with a group of family, which is what we all are as Pittsburgh's DSAN and listeners,
That's right.
He'll find somebody to connect with. And so will I, that wants to sit and chill. Maybe we can sit and talk, we're readers, we're avid readers. And so we can sit and talk about the books that we're reading. And I also love it because we're all on the same playing field. I know a lot of people have gone on groups before, and some people's pocketbooks are a little deeper than others. And so there are things that they end up getting excluded from. And so maybe you don't go on an excursion, at one of the ports, but you can still get off the ship and be right there and exchange and enjoy the port with your friends. We can sit and eat at all the different restaurants together. It just kind of levels out the playing field. The entertainment, we can all go to the entertainment because it's all included. I'm not a gambler, but, there's a casino piece of it, for those who like to indulge in that. And then, going with the travel agent, there are people who've already booked, and I've been answering all the questions. One of the people traveling with us had mobility issues, so we ensured that we got them that cabin, connected that person with the people who can give you onboard scooters. Like, people are like, oh, I have my own mobility, whatever. But those hallways are narrow. Your cabin is narrow, but there are some mobility people who specialize in giving you equipment specific for the cruise lines. And it's not that expensive. You know me with the travel insurance. I'm that girl. But if you're a first-time cruiser, this is great because there's a lot of people going, and this is going to be their first cruise as well. And we'll be supporting and helping each other. I know you guys who booked already have been getting the emails where I send out information continually, updating people, things you need to know, tips for those, couple of video links so you can watch when somebody's saying, okay, this is what the process looks like. It's like the first time, the first time you go to Mexico, if nobody warned you about what it's like after you get through customs and all those people coming at you before you get outside, that can be overwhelming.
Sure.
Definitely.
And you're not sure what even all that means or what you're supposed to do. And, and that's where we come in to help you out with that. I believe, and we've talked about this before, I believe your vacation starts from the moment you leave your house.
Absolutely.
And so cruising with us, everything is taken care of. You'll get a packet in the mail with your documentation, because I'm a paper girl. I love paper. So that, with steps and things to help you, so you have all your documentation, and everything's laid out for you. So you don't have to plan or worry or think about anything. All you have to do is decide, do I want to eat here in the morning, or do I want to eat over there? Do I want to walk over here, walk over there?
And in between, do I want to work out or don't I? Because I'm going to eat, I'm going to have to work. I'm going to keep it real. I'm going to eat what I want to eat when I want to eat. I'm not going on there, say, oh, I can't do. Yes, but I'm also going to get my steps in, because the ship is so big.
Yes.
I mean, you're talking
The ship
about
is so big.
a slide. I mean, come on. That's like us here going to Kennywood, or Sandcastle. I mean, and then you talk about being able to go to, and they call them neighborhoods, right, Nichelle?
Yeah.
Go to the neighborhood where you feel like you're in New York at Central Park. I mean, that is so awesome to me, and I just want to be on that ship and just walking around. I want to lay up on the deck, right by the pool. I'm that girl that loves to swim, so Francine will be having some braids, because I'm not going to do all this hair every day. I don't even want to take 10 minutes worrying about some hair.
Right.
So it's getting braided up, and I'm going to swim every day. I'm going to be on and off the ship. I mean, I'm ready to go. I am ready to go. So like I said, I'm not one packed and paid. That's Francine. That is.
And here's two cruise secrets. While everybody's headed to the buffet, go to the restaurants, because it's all included. And when you go to the restaurants, you can still order 2 entrees if you're somebody who likes to try different things, right? So you can still order 2 of things. It's all included. It's not going to be an extra charge. But head to some of the restaurants while everybody's going to the buffets, head to just the smaller, like there's a little cafe in Central Park that not only does coffee, but they do like little breakfast pastries and little things in the morning. So if you're a light eater in the morning, you're not going to do the whole big, or maybe a couple of mornings you don't want to do that, sneak off to there and sit. Can you imagine that, sitting in the park having breakfast? But you didn't have to carry your bag with you, your purse with you. All you need is your little armband thing, and that's it. You don't have to worry about lugging your life. Like, if the 3 of us were going to meet at a coffee shop, I got to, change purses. What am I going to put in it? Make sure I have this. Do I have my wallet? Do I have 50,000 things? Do I have my car keys? Because I got to drive there. No, like you said, Francine, I'm going to just walk outside my door and meet you there.
That's exactly right. And I think we
And
have a
have a
caller.
seat.
Yeah, I think we
You have
do.
a caller?
Mm-hmm.
Caller, this is
Yes.
Travel, Fun, and Tips. How are you today?
I'm doing well. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. We can hear
We
you.
can.
Were you,
Excellent.
you want to give us
Excellent.
your first name, or you want to give us your
Yes,
first name?
my first name is Kevin. I'm happy to be on the show today with you ladies.
Excellent, excellent. Do you
Glad
have a
to have you.
comment for us or a question? You got
I have a number of comments, a number of questions. I'm excited about this cruise, November 7th through the 14th.
I can't
and
hear the
I'm
caller,
not
so you
sure
have
if
to let me know
Nichelle
what
can
she
hear me
says,
or not.
or he.
So I wanted to make you aware of that as well. So you might just need to share the information with Nichelle.
Okay.
The first question that I do have regarding the cruise, I'm getting conflicting information on this. I think it's called like a drink card.
The drink
A
card.
drink
If
card.
if it's worth having the drink card,
Okay.
where you pay for it and you don't have to worry about can for your individual drinks because it's covered for the whole cruise.
Okay, so hold.
You're talking about
hold-
the drink package.
Yes. The drink
Okay, so
package.
Nichelle, you can hear Kevin.
Is it worth?
I heard, yeah.
Is it worth purchasing a drink package if you're planning to drink during the flight? I mean, during the cruise.
On the cruise, we might be drinking
It
during the
depends-
flight
During
too.
the flight too.
So here's what
Yeah,
I
doesn't it
tell
include the
people.
flight too?
No, no, that was a slip. That was a slip, Mr.
If
Kevin.
if you're a person,
okay.
if you're a person who
So is it worth
likes,
it?
That's
it-
what
it's only
Michelle's trying
worth-
to answer your question. So give us a second, Mr. Kevin.
if
Okay, 'cause
it's only
I
worth
can't hear
it if you're
Nichelle,
gonna.
so.
Okay, well, we
Uh,
will repeat what she
Yes.
says. So she's answering, and then as soon as she's done answering, I'll repeat it for you.
The drink
Okay.
package is worth it if you're someone who really is going to be drinking. If not, if you just like maybe one specialty coffee a day, something like that, because the drink package, here's what you have to remember. The drink package, let's say they're doing a special, because they do specials in the app prior to the cruise beginning. Let's say they say, oh, okay, we'll do a drink package and it's $79 a day. And you go, oh, that's not bad. But that's 79 times 7. So keep that in mind.
Mhm.
So are you going to be drinking that much every single day? Are you going to have 5 and 6 cocktails? Are you going to have 10 specialty coffees as
Right.
opposed to, whatever the regular Starbucks coffee is that's included? Like going back to Central Park, that barista there has specialty coffees that are included. So it just depends on what type of drinker you are. If you're someone who occasionally likes a high quality of wine or an alcoholic beverage, it might be more cost effective for you to just pay for it as you go.
Okay.
So
Nichelle, I'll give Kevin that information because he has a couple
Okay.
more questions. So Kevin,
Okay.
Nichelle's response is, if you're someone who is going to drink a fair amount, I'll say,
Yes.
and you're going to have, 5 or 6 specialty drinks, you're going to have, say, 10 coffees, so you're going to have a lot of drinks, then the drink package will be worth it. But if you're someone who is going to have a minimum amount of drinks, then it's not going to be worth it, because the cost that you're going to have to pay, and as Nichelle gave an example, say it's $79, but it's $79 times 7 days. So round up $80 times, 7 days. And if you're in the Central Park area, the baristas, those coffees there are included in the cost of your cruise.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to weigh how much you think you're going to drink. If it's going to be a fair amount, then the drink package will probably work for you. If it's only going to be a couple drinks, a day, then it's probably not going to be worth it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we did have a couple.
Okay, so there's
I was just going to say, we did
Go-
have a
go.
couple that were on a couple months ago, and they didn't think that the drink package was worth it because they felt like you had to drink excessive. For it to be worth it, you had to drink a whole lot. And so I guess you have to weigh the cost versus how much you really think you're going to drink. That is not included in the cruise
Right.
cost already.
And one question I would have is that price per person or per cabin?
It's per person.
It's
So
per
if there-
person.
It's per person, and so each
hey
person. in the
Rita, you know what? It's per person, but I can slide you a drink.
Wow. See, now we're gonna have to put the radar on you, and if you end up
the
getting
other-
some cuffs on you, some handcuffs, then we know you've been cutting up even beyond that. So don't cut
The
up
other
on our
issue
first
is-
cruise, Mr.
Yeah,
Kevin.
but hey, you have to get caught. But real quick, because I know time is
is a
is
ticket.
short here.
Mhm.
I would like to go back to the previous segment. You all were talking about car drives and Scenic car drives and everything. It's very important. The 4th of July is coming up, I should say. And a lot of people hit the road for the 4th of July. And with all this craziness with this Iran war, gas prices are high. They say they're coming down, but they're still high.
Yeah,
And to take a road trip right now, that's something you really need to plan for so you could, still do it at a reasonable cost. So I just would like to hear your thoughts on, traveling during the 4th of July.
Okay, so let me repeat the question so that Nichelle can answer as well. So Nichelle,
And
Kevin's,
I'm gonna hang up so I can listen as well.
okay, thank you. Thank you for the call. We appreciate
Thank
your
you.
support.
Yeah.
Nichelle, Kevin's
Bye.
comment was we have the 4th of July next week, and so a lot of people hit the road and start traveling. And he wanted to know what do we think about the prices of gas and people traveling during that time? Because the Iran war wasn't over like Kookadookle said it was. It was only supposed to be a week. USA, right? Well, I think this is like going into 4 months, so it's crazy. But back to Kevin's question, what do we think about the prices of gas and how will it affect people traveling? Because a lot of people travel during the 4th of July. So Nichelle, I'll let you answer first.
So I think you have to weigh your budget because airline tickets are also high right now. Everything is high. So, weigh that. Let's say if you live in Pittsburgh and you decide for the holiday weekend you're going to drive up to Maryland, let's say that's 4 or 5 hours. That might be a half a tank of gas. Weigh that against maybe a flight somewhere. What I would tell people to do right now, if you're really hesitant and you're worried about, it was $4 when you left, and now 2 days later you're trying to fill your tank coming back and it's $6, and you're really concerned about that piece of it. What I would tell you to do is look in your city. Every single city has festivals, carnivals. It's summertime everywhere in the United States right now. So there are a lot of local events. But if you do decide I'm going to take a car ride, remember, you can control some of the other pieces of the budget, right? You can take your own snacks. You'd be able to travel with your own food with you, your toiletries, instead of you having to go out and buy smaller toiletries or siphon things out of your bottles. You can put that whole bar of soap, shampoo bottle, etc., in your car and go wherever it is you're trying to go. You can look online and a lot of people are like, oh, I'm a 6-star chick. I only want to stay in blah, blah, blah. But if you're doing a road trip, there's a 5-star Days Inn. There's a 5-star Holiday Inn because you're on the road. So your options are going to be different, but it does not mean the quality, the cleanliness is not there. So I would think about, that's what you would have to weigh. For me to I can't blanketly say one or the other because it depends on your cost and what you're doing. Like me, we cook a lot of meals at home just in general, right? We don't go out all the time just because it's a weekend on a Friday. Our date night might include, I made something here or or something like that, and we cook at home. So for he and I, 30 days of the month, our grocery bill is already a little bit shorter. Our entertainment bill is already a little bit smaller because we don't do a lot of things outside of that. We go walking, we go to the gym, we might drive past the park and there's a free concert in the park. We might enjoy that. I'll take my iPad and my blanket and I'll have my own movie in the park, so to speak, sitting on a blanket at the park by myself. So there are a lot of other ways to do that. But one of the other things I want to say about the drink package is, if you decide to get the drink package, everybody in the cabin has to get the drink package.
That's what we said.
Okay.
I want to make sure I make that very, very clear with people. I don't care whether you cruise with us or you cruise out into the universe by yourself.
Yes.
Both people have to check the rules of the airline. If you don't do a lot of alcohol for, like, for instance, for Royal Caribbean, they have a refreshment package that runs about $29, $40 a day. They have a classic soda package if you're somebody who really likes sodas, that averages $13 to $16 a day. Because if not, then you can really only have those drinks when you're having a meal. You know, if you want to do a Coke or a soda or what have you, because if you have it, if you're by the pool and you want to get a soda, that's going to be a charge.
Now,
And
Nichelle,
We have
you
another
know
one.
you're from Pittsburgh. You know we say pop here.
Uh-huh.
Now, she done got all bougie on us.
Now,
She's
you know
saying
what,
soda.
I
no,
just
let me
say
tell
so.
you,
But we have a call.
I
coming
just went to
through.
a
You have
thing
another
and they had a
Sure
sign up
do.
that said chocolate sprinkles. And I told the lady, yes, I'll have some Jimmy's. That's exactly what I told her.
There you go. There you go. Well, we have a caller. Hello, caller. How are you today?
I'm great, thank you. How are you?
Very good. Very good. What's your name? You give us your first name.
Stacy.
Excellent. Excellent. Stacy, what is your question or comment?
Well, I have a comment.
Okay.
I am going on the cruise, and I
Yay!
just wanted you ladies to know that I was watching the show, and the segment on the cruise
Yes.
just I've always wanted to go on Royal Caribbean. So when I found
Okay.
out about it back in January, I was so determined I am going.
Excellent.
And to see all the events and the activities that is I'm going to experience, I am super excited. And I just want to also let Nichelle know that she is awesome to work with. And I'm looking forward to this trip in November.
That's wonderful.
Excellent. Excellent. We appreciate that. And what's one of the things that you absolutely have to do while you're on a cruise? Have you thought about that?
The excursions. I've always wanted to do an excursion. I've been on smaller cruises and never had the opportunity to do an excursion. So I plan to do maybe one or two excursions while I'm
Great.
there.
Excellent. Excellent. Well, we definitely
Well,
appreciate
Stacy,
you.
thank you.
We
Thank
appreciate
you
you
so
coming
much for
with
that.
us, and we already knew that we had to have Nichelle
Oh, yeah.
run point on this. We already knew
Yeah.
that as a professional travel agent who owns not only a travel agent but the owner of the business. We knew we had to have Nichelle. So,
Absolutely, yes.
Stacy, thank you for
Well,
that feedback. We really
yeah.
appreciate it so much.
Stacy, thank you so much for
Okay.
that
Looking
feedback.
forward to
And
it.
yes, and talking about the excursions. So 46 days, 45 days before the trip opens, you check in online on the app. But currently, you can download the app, put in your reservation number that's on your invoice, and you can start seeing when they're going to open those things up. Because a lot of times it'll be a little bit more discounted before you get on the ship. And so you can sign up for those excursions. You can sign up for different activities, the entertainment, a lot of those things. And so just be aware on the app. I send out emails to try to alert you when those things are coming. But we all are inundated with emails a lot of times.
Right.
But download the Royal Caribbean app, put in your ID, your reservation number, and so you'll be able to start booking those things, looking at those and tagging things that you're interested in so that you can get your name in there before, they fill up. And it's great. And the last thing I'll say about the cruise, and this is any cruise, is it's very, very easy. Like, let's say you don't get the drink package and you had two pops here, two cocktails there, and they're just like putting on your bill. You have to pay your bill before you get off the cruise ship.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Like, if, let's say, I've talked to a guy one time. He took his family and it was all going to him, and when he went to get off the cruise ship, it was $500.
Wow.
That's easy.
Well, you
to
have
do,
to
too.
pay that before you get off the cruise. When you register inside the app, they ask you to put a credit card in there. Some people opt not to and all that. But what I normally do is I take that credit card that's either empty or the one that, has the lowest balance, however you want to do it. And that's the card that I put in there so that I don't have any issues getting off the ship.
Wow.
I don't have any issues with anything that I want to do. And I, anytime I go on vacation, though, I do that. I use one card, put everything on that one card. Even if I have the cash, it just makes it simpler for me. And then when my vacation is over, I have my full total, and then I just, pay all that stuff off. But I'm walking around. I have my budget. Okay, today my budget is $100 a day. So that's all I'm spending today. So, but it's very, very easy on a lot of these cruise ships to, oh, I'm having another soda. Oh, I'm having another this. Oh, I'm signing up for that. Oh, I'm doing this and that.
Yeah.
A lot of
It's
things
worth
are included, but
budget.
there are some things that are not, like those specialty coffees. If you're a specialty coffee person, if it's normally $5, right, on a cruise ship, that same coffee might be $10.
$10. Wow. When Nichelle, hold
Uh,
that thought, because we're going to go to a break. Stacey, thank you so much for
Yes.
calling. I think what we can do too is talk about having a teams meeting where we bring everybody together who's going on a cruise and just give them information
Oh, yes.
before we actually cruise. But
I
Stacey,
always set
thank
up a WhatsApp group too
Okay.
for my
Perfect.
groups.
Perfect.
Yep.
So, Stacey, thank you so much for calling in. We look forward to seeing you on the cruise. Folks, you still have a limited amount of time that you can sign up. Go to our website. You'll see all the information so that you can get in contact with Nichelle. But thank you so much, Stacey, for calling. We'll let you go. We're going to take a short break. And when we come back, we're going to try to do two things. Have a gentleman on from Kenya to talk to us about being able to experience Kenya. But if we can, we're going to get to the automation that the industry, the travel industry, airline industry is going through. So stay there with us. We'll be back. We're going to just take a short break.
Looking for a cost-effective way to help increase your company's bottom line? Look no further than Soul Pit Media. With our award-winning print, internet, podcast, and Soul Pit television options, we can help your business get to that next level. For more information, contact Craig Dawson at 412-407-7685. That's 412-407-7685. And let Soul Pit Media take you to that next level.
Business owners thinking about back-to-school promotions and replacing summer flavors with pumpkin? What about your taxes? Reduce your stress and tax liabilities by planning for tax time now. With Cameron Professional Services Group, CPSG takes your goals, values, and visions to create a custom tax plan catered specifically to your business. We work closely with you to ensure that as your business grows and goals shift, so will your custom plan. Located in the Hill District in Pittsburgh, PA, CPSG is a CPA and consultant firm providing services in accounting, auditing, tax planning and preparation, community development, and operational management. Call Cameron Professional Services Group today at 412-251-0607.
Have you had the Beat by Niche experience? Beat by Niche is one of the top makeup artists in the city of Pittsburgh. She's touched the face of Cardi B, Love and Hip Hop personalities, and various Steeler wives. If you have not sat in her chair, what are you waiting for? Visit beatbyniche.com to schedule your special makeover for all occasions: weddings, graduations, proms, photo ops, and more. Visit beatbyniche.com and experience the touch of excellence.
We are going to be on the Royal Caribbean cruise line and their new ship, Icon of the Seas, November 7th through the 14th, 2026.
We got excellent dates because the dates that we got are not within their blackout date, which means that whatever current promotion is happening right now with Royal Caribbean, when you pay your deposit, that promotion will be applied. If it's 60% off the second person, there's one that's a drink credit because they run different promotions all the time. This is a large corporation, and we have all balcony rooms and we have ocean view rooms that are reserved just for DSEN listeners. Icon of the Seas, it has elevated adult-focused party and chill areas. It has an infinity pool where you sit in this infinity pool and you see views of the ocean. They have a day vibe where there's a DJ. They are a little bit of party without the chaos. So you're not going to get the hoopla party chaos, but you're still going to be entertained. They have the Aquadome. Those of us who are Pittsburgh born and raised, we remember when the Civic Arena used to open up the dome. Remember that?
Absolutely.
How amazing that! I saw
Yes.
Prince and they opened the dome. Well, they have something called an Aquadome on Icon of the Seas, and basically you sit in this theater type zone and they're doing acrobatics and night activities. You get views of the ocean and the sky and the stars and the moon, and it is just wonderful. They have water park at sea that has 6 water slides to it.
It's
And of
like
course
a floating city.
it is. It really is.
You're talking about a dome that opens.
Which is why they don't say decks. Instead, that what they have are different neighborhoods. Because it is. It's a rolling on the sea city. And we're going to stop at St. Martin in Phillipsburg. We're going to stop at St. Thomas. Those will be full days where we're there, so you can do excursions if you'd like to do excursions. And of course, there's the perfect day at Coco Cay, which is Royal Caribbean's private island. And we're going to have a special reserved section for DSEN listeners. It's going to be a wonderful time. While we're on the cruise, we're going to do some trivia. Of course, we'll have a welcome cocktail as well as a farewell dinner. It is not just limited to the radio listeners. Bring everybody. The deposit is $250 per person.
You can go to Pittsburgh's DSEN's website to find out all the good information about the cruise, Icon of the Seas. I even love the name.
No, I love it. I'm a cruise fanatic. I'm ready to go home and start packing. So
I-
I'll see you ladies later.
All my bags are packed, I'm ready to go. I'm standing here outside your door.
Funny.
John Denver,
I
you hear
hate
him?
to wake you
Bags
up to
are
say goodbye.
Yes, I hear him. I hear it.
But the dawn is breaking, it's early morning.
Well, we are back. This is Pittsburgh's DSEN Travel Fun and Tips. You're here with Rita Gregory, Nichelle Downing, and I am Francine Cameron. We are in our last segment, ladies. This time goes so fast.
It does.
We appreciate all of our listeners on our platform supporting us the last Saturday of every month when we come to you live. Thank you so much for those of you who are on YouTube. We appreciate you. And we have a little bit of a controversy going on in this airline industry. We are trying to figure out what they are doing.
Yes.
And Rita, you are the expert in this for sure. You know, AI is here. We know it's here to stay. We know that everybody's trying to use that platform. But what are we going to do with the travel industry?
Well, I think we have a call coming through before we really
Dive
deep
into it? Okay.
What's happening? I
Okay.
think we have a caller.
Okay, caller, are you there with us?
Yeah, this is me. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. We can hear you.
It's Bill. What's going on? How y'all doing?
Very
Great.
good. How are you doing?
All right.
Excellent. You have a question or a comment, Mr. Bell?
I was going to comment on you guys travel conversation as far as whether you should get the drink package.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, let me ask you a question. Have you gone on Royal Caribbean specifically, or you've traveled, or you've cruised with other cruise lines?
With other cruise lines, Royal is the only one that I have not been on.
Wow. Okay,
And,
so we need to get your full information and get you signed up to come with us. I figured out, I got to plug it in every
She's gotta
time I
plug
get
it.
right. So tell us. So what's your thoughts on the drink package?
You absolutely have to get the drink package.
Really? Okay. And why do you say that?
Well, on our last cruise, well, not our last one, but like 2 cruises ago, we went on a family cruise.
Okay.
And I want to say it was about 30 of them.
Wow.
And so a couple of the couples, they brought their own bottles on. They allow you, depending on the cruise line, they allow you 2 bottles or whatever. And what they had to do is they had to go back and forth to fill their cups. Now, for those who haven't been on some of these boats, we've actually been on the Oasis. We've been on a few of them that are really, really big. That's like walking a couple football fields just to go get you a drink. Now, that's number one. Right?
Well, let me ask you a question. What do you mean you're allowed 2 bottles, and what are you filling it up with? I don't understand that part.
From your bottle, you store it.
The water bottle?
Yeah.
Cup.
Yeah, you can bring in. Well, here's the trick. Some cruise lines allow you to bring in 2 bottles of wine.
Of wine, okay.
And what you do is you pour the wine out and you put yak in there or whatever you.
Some moonshine.
They won't open it. Jack Daniels. You can put whatever you want in there, Remy.
Wow.
And you reclose it, and they don't open it, taste it to see what it is. Now that's what some people do.
Okay.
And then when you go to port, sometimes you're allowed to bring in a bottle, off of the line. But the very thing about it is, if you go back and forth to your room, you're going to be doing that all night.
Mm-hmm.
And on the flip side, if you buy from the bar, what happens is you're going to be averaging somewhere around $14 to $17 a drink.
Wow.
So if you get a martini, you're going to be paying top dollars because they include tips in there and stuff. So I don't know how much, you have to be realistic about how much you think you may drink. If you get up at 9 o'clock in the morning, you go to the last, show on ice or whatever, let's say it's over at 12 or 1, how much are you going to drink when you're talking apple juice, orange juice, martinis, wine? How much are you going to drink in those 12, 14, 16 hours?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
If you have 1 drink an hour, you surpass your drink package.
Wow. And so you're saying it's including all drinks. So it's non-alcoholic and alcoholic drinks.
Yeah.
But there's a separate package
who
for
really
soft
wants to
drinks and
drink
juice.
who really wants to drink the same drink for 7 straight days all day long? Like, most people don't want to do that.
Right.
You may want a beer in the afternoon, and then for you want cocktails in the evening. I mean, you may want to switch it up. The last thing that I'll tell you is, the closer you get to the cruise going off, they send you out things where you can get a discount as well. So your drink package that was, say, $700 for a couple may end up being $500 for a couple.
Okay.
So that's $250 a piece on, I think our last cruise was 7 days. So that's like $30 a day. You're going to drink more than $30 a day on a cruise. I mean, so I know a lot of people say it's not worth it, especially people who say that they don't drink at all, but there's other drink packages for people who just drink water. And I think you can get free apple juice and orange juice at the breakfast.
Right.
But dinner, they don't give you free apple juice and orange juice, that kind of stuff.
So you're saying for your family members, would you say the majority of that 30 that went on your family cruise, do you say the majority of them did get the drink package?
Nope. I would say that I know of about the 30 or so, I would say about 8 to 10 got the package.
Okay.
But here's the thing. My son, who did not get the package, on his last cruise, the first thing he said is, we're getting the package. We're not going through all that again.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it just depends. So everybody needs to examine just what their desire is, what their needs are, what their budget is like before jumping into or not jumping into purchasing a package.
That is exactly right. You just have to be truthful to yourself and say, okay, how much do I think I'm going to drink each hour that I'm awake? And that could be anything. It don't have to be alcohol. It could be anything. So, usually what I did is I got up in the morning, I would go to the gym, and then I would leave there, walk through the breakfast line, get an orange juice, apple juice, bring it back to the room to my wife. Sonny would have one. By the time she got ready, then we'd go back to breakfast and actually eat breakfast. But if you looked at those 12 to 14 hours, I think we were averaging 17 drinks a day. Now, that's including alcohol, that's including apple juice, coffee, water, that's including everything.
Right.
Which isn't a lot when you're on that salty air. And,
Because you got to stay hydrated.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So,
And you're eating and you want something to drink. Your point is well taken. Because it is, by you explaining that on that particular cruise line, I think it was absolutely your money was well spent.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It was, I think that cruise, it ended up being something like $350 a piece for me and my wife. The last cruise, I think it's somewhere around, I think the last cruise, it was somewhere like $320.
Okay.
For me and my wife. But so you figure the $350, so say $700 on those two. Now before then, we sometimes would catch that deal, like I said, where it would be like $500. But if you go worst case scenario and you get around $700 for a couple, you're gonna use it up. And the cool thing about it too is, and I know you guys got to go. The cool thing about it was you can get the fruity drink. Am I breaking up?
Are you in the rain? No, are you in the rain?
No, we have a lot of rain here, so you're not breaking.
No, I'm not in the rain.
Yeah,
Okay,
you're
then
not
it's
breaking
here.
up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, but you could get like different kinds. So they have all kinds of like tropical drinks with all kind of fancy stuff on it. You can get it alcohol, no alcohol. You don't have to worry about tipping. When you go to a show, like a magic show or ice show, you can have them bring the drinks to you,
Right.
which our family members had to walk back to the other side of the boat, fill up a container.
On the other side of the boat.
Look, did they make it back? Because that was
Before the show's over.
That was 2 football fields. Now that alone will deter you from not. You know what I'm saying? Oh my goodness.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, you pay for the convenience. You pay for being able to have different types of drinks. And so, in my opinion, it's the best thing you should do if you want to drink.
Well, you know what? We appreciate you sharing your thoughts on it, because on a previous show we did have a couple that went on this very ship and they didn't feel it was worth it. But hearing your perspective, and like you said, it's going to go back to each person,
Right.
Individually to determine the different drinks. And again, we're not only just talking about alcoholic drinks, we're talking about non-alcoholic drinks. So everybody has to make their decision. But the good thing is you have options, so if it's in your budget and you think you're going to, want a variety of drinks, then you get the package. But if you don't, you don't.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, but thank you, Belle, for calling. We appreciate that perspective. We needed
Yes,
it.
great.
We needed it. So I need to think about what I'm going to do, because I know what I do is going to affect my husband, because you, on this particular ship with Royal Caribbean, it's everyone in the cabin has to do the same thing. So, it's not each individual,
That's one
everyone in
thing
the
I didn't
cabin.
know.
Yeah. I knew that. I remember that, but really hadn't thought too much about it. I was thinking just like Stacy about the excursions. But that's definitely good information. So, Mr. Bell, thank you so much for calling in. We're going to let you go. Thank you for listening in, and enjoy the rest of your day.
All right, ladies. Good
Thank
show.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
so
Thank
much.
you so much. Appreciate that. Well, that's a good perspective, Nichelle. So, for
That's what you call actually day. Someone's telling you this is how your day is going, and as he was speaking, it was like a light bulb for me, because you really don't think about, oh, I want to get a glass of juice. Oh, I want to, I'm sitting here watching a show. Oh, I might want some tea, or
That's right.
what have, like, you don't think about how your actual, from the time you wake up till you go to bed,
That's
you
right.
don't think
Don't
about that. And I love what he said, about, you're allowed to bring on certain, so many ounces of soda and different things, but that's a 12-mile hike
Right.
And
back
by the
to
time
your
you get there, you
cabin.
need you need 4 bottles and not just the 2. And I still don't quite understand that. So if you bring in, just bear with me, ladies. If you bring in 2 bottles of wine,
Yes.
you drink the 2 bottles of wine. What are you filling it up with? Water or what are you?
No. So what he's talking about is, so if you bring your own, right, you have to leave it in your cabin.
Right.
And so you're going to have either a water bottle with you or something of that nature. So you would be putting your wine into this other container to, let's say, take it out with you to the pool. And so let's say you put some wine in, a little cup holder, whatever, right? Some type of functional bottle that you're taking with you. So you put your wine in it, you're up at the pool, you're sipping, you're enjoying yourself. Now you want some more of your wine. So now you have to go back 12 miles to your cabin to refill your container, because it's not like you can take the bottle. You're not allowed to just openly have this bottle of wine up by the pool.
Yeah.
That alone makes me tired. All
yeah.
that trucking back, like it's the inconvenience of it.
Well, think about it. If your cabin is in the forward section of the ship, but you're hanging out at the pool that's in the aft section, behind everything, and you've got to walk all the way to the front and then walk back to where you were. That's a lot. So it's just a matter of what you want and what you're willing to deal with.
That's a lot. Because we're
You know,
not
I-
talking about, we're not talking about a small boat. We're talking about a
Huge.
ship that has neighborhoods.
City.
A floating city, so I think just the inconvenience alone would kind of
Yes.
be a turnoff for me.
Yeah.
But we needed to hear that from Belle, and then we needed to hear it from the folks who actually went on this ship, and it's just all about, what works for you.
Yeah.
So neither one is right or wrong. It's a personal decision.
Right. But
It's
also
a
keep in
personal
mind,
decision.
that if you're a non-drinker, and one day you may want cranberry juice, not all ships allow cranberry juice as part of the package. It may just be apple and orange juice, and everything else you have to pay for. So if you're doing the non-alcoholic beverage package, think about what it is that you like to drink.
So, Nichelle, I would say for those who are cruising with us already and those who are considering it, I think maybe we send out a special notice on that, just so everybody's clear.
Right. I've sent out one email on it, and it's in my rotation. It sends another one out in a couple of days.
Okay,
You
that
know
would be
me,
good.
I'm all about information.
Yes,
Send
you
it-
are.
Yeah, so I mean that's good, because I haven't been on a cruise in so long, and back in the day, a lot of that was included, especially if it was non-alcoholic. So all those different beverages that were non-alcoholic, as far as I can remember, was all included in the price that you paid for the cruise. So now, it's different than what I experienced before, and I just, want to make sure we're giving people as much information as possible so that they can start, determining what they want to do, what their experience is going to be, So, well, ladies, check this out. We didn't get to two sections. We didn't get to two of our areas, but that's okay, right?
We have to revisit.
We will revisit. We will reschedule folks, and then we'll definitely talk about the automation of what the travel industry is going through. So we will do that on a future show. So listeners,
I didn't get to file my complaint.
Well, you know what? I mean, we have 3 minutes. So I don't know if you want to give us a preview or you want to wait, because I think that's probably a conversation for us to wait.
It's a wait.
Okay.
It's a wait conversation. It's a wait
Okay.
conversation.
All right, good. So within this last 2 minutes now that we have, I want to ask you, Rita, from everything that we talked about, what was kind of like an aha moment for you?
Oh, without a doubt, the Scenic cruise, the Scenic train ride,
Scenic ride
from Maine up
Yeah.
to Canada.
Yeah. So because it could be a train, or it could be
You
a
could
drive.
Yeah,
It could be a
I'd
drive.
love to do the train.
Yeah.
That way I can see the moose.
Up close. Up close. Yeah, excellent. And
Yeah.
we've done in the past about train rides, so that might be something that we revisit again. How about you, Nichelle?
For me, I think it was Canada. Because Canada used to be you just whip right through. And I had heard and seen a couple conversations about this new process. I didn't realize it was actually active and in play. So just hearing all the details about what to have to get across the border, how you can mitigate the long wait to get across the border, things you could do ahead of time.
Right.
Because I'm a planning type person, and the fact that it's good for 5 years. So it's not something you just do for one time. A lot of times for a lot of these European trips, different things, you get these visas, you get different things that you have to have, but it's temporary. So the fact that I would go through the process and it's good for 5 years, that's good to know.
Great. What about for you, Francine?
I think my aha moment was really about Nexus as well.
Okay.
I didn't know the detail. I just experienced it because we were in a long line and
Right.
everybody, not everybody, but folks were riding through, and it reminded me, as I said, the Easy Pass. So I'm on the border of would I do it or not, because we've gone to Canada. We don't go a lot. However, I'm thinking about the Caribbean Festival that's coming up. So might be an opportunity to go back up there. And then, like Nichelle said, it's for 5 years. So for me, it wouldn't be time wasted. So on that note, we are wrapping up, and I just want to let people know, stay here. Don't turn off the radio. We have the best of soul music coming up from 2 to 6. You will enjoy it. We also have old school jams coming up from 6 to 11. And on Monday, we have Dr. Linda Bing, Relationship Conversations with Dr. Linda Bing on Mondays, 8 to 10 p.m. On Tuesday, we have the famous extraordinaire, Mr. Kevin Cameron, when you talk all sports, and his team. They are part of Soul Tape. It's Tuesdays, 6 to 8. And you know what? You'll get a real treat, because when it comes to all sports and the things that are going on in the different areas of sports, sometimes Kevin does a 6 to 9. So, you'll get a ton of information, great information, unlike what you'll hear around the country, to be honest. So it is quality. Check our YouTube channel every day, because they're also putting content out there. So, of course, again, we'll have the Best of Soul Music coming up 2 to 6, Old School Jam 6 to 11, and then Rita, how about that Sunday schedule? The Sunday schedule, it is off the hook. So Sunday, we start out with gospel. We start out with gospel, then we move into jazz. we move in for those who are from Pittsburgh region. We brought back the Quiet Storm. But I got to say that low because, you know, that's for the romance music. So we brought back the Quiet Storm. And we got the music and everything. And, you know, again, Pittsburgh DSEN is a 24/7 music platform and entertainment. And we have wonderful shows. If you like soul music, you will love what we have. And one of my favorite days is Thursday, also 6 to 11 breakout. And I absolutely love it. So please, those of you who might be new to the family, go on to our website and subscribe. Rita, what is it? It's free. It's free. 3 little entries, and then you will understand and hear everything that's going on the platform. Be connected with us because we have some great things going on all the time. So with that, I want to say to everybody, see you next time. It's never goodbye, but see you next time.
Bon voyage.
There you go, Rita. Now Rita talking French. See, she is extraordinaire for sure. And again, we will be back